answer prayers if we ask and believe. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for all that you do, for your goodness and mercy. You are a God who is so good and caring. I give you praise because every aspect of my life is in your hands. I find strength in knowing that in all things, the Most High God is working for my good. Even though I don't know every detail about tomorrow, I trust you with all my heart. Where I am broken, mend me. Where I am weak, strengthen me. I trust and believe that you will answer when I call. I put this week into your hands, into your sovereign hands. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Senator Sotto. The Emilio Aguinaldo College Chorale will lead us in the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. Thereafter, the group shall also render a song entitled Bagani.
Kayang magiliw, pesta sinamanan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiti, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisi. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoya, sa langit bumaga, may nilagang tula, tawid sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisap ng umatawat mo'y tagumpay na nadidinig. Ang bituin at araw ng kailan, ang may magdidinig. Lumalang araw ng walhati, pagsinta mo'y langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay na dahil sa'yo.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Aquino. Senator Cayetano Alan. Senator Cayetano Pia. Senator De La Rosa. Senator Ejercito. Senator Estrada. Senator Gatchalian. Senator Go. Senator Ontiveros. Senator Lacson. Senator Lapid. Senator Legarda. Senator Marcoleta. Senator Marcos. Senator Padilla. Senator Pangilinan. Senator Soto. Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camille, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri, the Senate President.
With 24 senators present, Chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President. Before we proceed, may I just be allowed to acknowledge some guests from the gallery, guests of Senator De La Rosa, Mindanao State University Alumni Association, led by National President Engineer Samuel Sabenicio, LGU officials of Tubay Agusan del Norte, led by Mayor Jimmy Beray, LGU officials of Birac Catanduanes, led by Mayor Sinforoso Sarmiento, guests of Senator Gatchalian, Vice Mayor Alberto Giang Jr. of Burgos, Pangasinan, guests of Senator Go, Vice Mayor Rondon Mercado of Minalin, Pampanga, guests of Senator Pangilinan, Attorney Moslem Macarambon, Chairperson of the Marawi Compensation Board, and guests of Senator Ejercito, Legit Status Dance Crew. Mr. President, they won the 2025 World Hip Hop Dance Championship in Arizona, USA. We welcome them in this August chamber, Mr. President.
To our aforementioned guests, welcome to your Senate. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, the distinguished gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Mig Zubiri, is seeking the floor. I move that he be recognized, Mr. President.
The Honorable Mig Zubiri is recognized. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to move to declare the position of the Senate President as vacant, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Chair will suspend session and ask Senator Jingo Estrada to kindly ascend the rostrum and preside over the session. Senate session is suspended.
We're ready to proceed, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, at this juncture, may I now move that we proceed with the election of the President of the Senate and recognize the distinguished gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Zubiri, for his nomination. So move, Mr. President.
An objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have the honor of nominating Senator Vicente C. Sotto III as Senate President. We already know him to be a leader of great integrity, as exemplified by his time as Vice Mayor of Quezon City, as Senate Majority Leader, as Senate Minority Leader, and of course, as Senate President. Having had the honor of working alongside him as his Majority Leader during the 17th and 18th Congress, I witnessed firsthand his peerless leadership and work ethic, and I can say with conviction that he has been nothing short of a reliable and trustworthy leader. As Senate President, he always led with fairness and transparency, and he led with an open ear and a decisive hand, ensuring unity and stability in the Senate at all times. Most importantly, he was a traditionalist in the very best sense of the word, consistently upholding the rules and traditions that protected the integrity of the Senate as the nation's last bastion of democracy. With Senator Soto as Senate President, the Senate is in good hands. Maraming salamat po, Your Honors.
Thank you, Senator Zubiri. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, there are no other nominations. Mr. President, I therefore move that we close the period of nomination. So move, Mr.
Any
President.
objection? There being none, the motion is hereby approved.
Mr. President, Senator Legarda is also seeking the floor. I move that she be recognized, Mr. President.
Senator Legarda is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, the Filipino people have always looked to the Senate as a pillar of our democracy. In times of profound challenges, when our citizens yearn for clarity and wisdom, They expect us to steady the ship and steer it with a clear compass towards safer shores. They do not ask for eloquence alone, but for proof that we can all place country above self and that we can govern with discipline, foresight, and courage. Discipline to resist the distractions of partisanship and to keep public service anchored in principle. Foresight to craft laws that anticipate the future rather than merely react to crisis. And the courage to take the difficult but necessary decisions that secure the long-term welfare of our people, even when they come at significant political cost. Let me emphasize, leadership in this chamber is never a solitary duty. It is a shared guardianship of a trust that belongs to the Filipino people. The Senate at its finest when debate sharpens judgment and unity springs from conviction. This, I believe, is what Senator Vicente Tito Sotto III embodies and why I rise in support of his nomination as Senate President. During my first term long ago, I served as Majority Leader while he was Minority Leader. I witnessed his respect for balance and fairness, ensuring that this chamber remained a forum of reason and accountability. Later, as chair of the Committee on Finance under his Senate presidency, I saw his firm hand in guiding our work, listening to every voice, building consensus, reminding us constantly that governance must yield tangible results for the people. These are qualities tested by time and proven by service. Senator Tito Sotto commands respect through fairness, humility, and his ability to unite diverse voices. For these reasons, I second the nomination of Senator Vicente Sotto III as Senate President.
Thank you, Senator Legarda.
Mr. President, move for the previous motion, there being no other nomination. So move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by the Majority Leader and seconded by Senator Lauren Legarda that the nomination be closed. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved. There being no other nominees for the position, Senator Vicente Sotto, the only nominee for the position of the Senate President, is hereby declared as the newly elected President of the Senate.
Mr. President, may I move that we suspend the session to allow the newly elected Senate President to take his oath, Mr. President.
Session is hereby suspended.
Kailangan naka-session tayo.
We are ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
May we proceed with the oath taking of the newly elected Senate President, Mr. President.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name.
I, Vicente C. Sotto III,
Having been elected to the position of Senate President,
having been elected to the position of Senate President,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold
and of all others I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines.
under the Republic of the Philippines,
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
That I will obey the laws
that I will obey the laws,
legal orders,
legal orders,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith and allegiance
and maintain true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of the Philippines,
to the Republic of the Philippines,
and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, citizen.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President.
Session is suspended.
We're ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, at this juncture, may I move that we recognize the distinguished former Senate President, Senator Chiz Escudero, to make a manifestation, Mr. President.
The former Senate President, Senator Chiz Escudero, is hereby recognized for a manifestation.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Senate President. Nais ko lamang po magbigay ng maikling manifestasyon. Nais ko pong magpasalamat sa mga kapwa ko miyembro ng Senado na nagbigay po ng tiwala sa akin sa 19th at saka 20th Congress. Nais ko din po magpasalamat sa mga opisyal at kawani ng Senado. Karangalan ko po na pagsilbihan kayo at manilbihan kasama kayo nitong nagdaang taon. I serve at the pleasure, Mr. President, of the majority, and understand and respect the decision of the majority of my colleagues. I hold no grudges. I hold no ill feelings. I congratulate Senator Vicente Tito Sotto III on his election as Senate President, and I wish you well, Mr. Senate President. Nandito lamang po ako bilang ordinaryong miyembro para pagsilbihan at paglingkuran kayo sa anumang kapasidad na pwede at kaya ko bilang bahagi ng Senadong ito. During my tenure, Mr. President, the Senate did not shy away from confronting the difficult questions facing our nation. We passed a record number of laws that helped uplift the lives of our countrymen. We conducted hearings that unearthed corruption on a scale rarely seen before, and in doing so, we remind the public that accountability is not a mere empty rhetoric, but a duty that we must uphold. Maski na papano, sa ilalim po ng aking panunungkulan at sa pangunguna ni Congressman Rodante Marcoleta, may ilang bagay po tayong nakamit at nagawa. Nakapagsalita na ng bombo kaninang umaga si Congressman Toby Chanco at nabanggit lahat ng nais niyang sabihing hindi nasabi sa kabilang kamera. Nasabi na rin po, Ginoong Pangulo, ang the name that cannot be mentioned, ang pangalan ni Speaker Martin Romualdez at Congressman Zaldico sa pamamagitan ng paghihiring kanina pong hapon. And as a final act earlier, Mr. President, I signed upon the request of Congressman Marcoleta the contempt order of Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez, putting him under detention already here in the Senate. Mr. President, I am proud of what the Senate has accomplished together, and I trust that the spirit of transparency and courage that have been displayed by this chamber will be sustained. Sana po, mapagpatuloy natin to. Let justice and the rule of law be done and followed, though the heavens may fall. Thank you again, Mr. President, and please accept once again my warmest congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Senate President.
Thank you very much, and we thank the distinguished former Senate President, Senator Chiz Escudero, for his magnanimity and the work that he is, the service that he has given the Senate and the Filipino people. Thank you, Mr. Senator. You have a 1 minute suspension?
Yes, Mr. We're ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, at this
Minority
juncture,
Leader.
I move that we recognize the distinguished gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Mig Zubiri, for his nomination. I so move, Mr. President.
The gentleman from Bukidnon, Senator Mig Zubiri, is recognized. No.
Mr. President, if there be no objection of our distinguished colleagues, I move to honor and nominate, it is my honor rather, to nominate Senator Panfilo Lacson as the Senate President pro tempore. We need in the Senate leadership a man of courage, integrity, and loyalty, embodied best by no other than Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson. Throughout his celebrated career as police officer and as lawmaker, Senator Ping has been consistent in his pursuit of truth, fairness, and accountability in public service. He has married his background as Chief of the Philippine National Police with his lawmaking duties, ensuring that our public offices are always held accountable for and to the people. And if you want to know more about him, you can watch his movie, 10,000 Hours. As Senate President pro tempore, Mr. President, we trust that he will be instrumental in upholding the integrity of the Senate and fostering a stronger environment of trust in all our public institutions. This is why I give my wholehearted support to Senator Ping Lacson as Senate President pro tempore. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Zubiri.
Mr.
Majority
President,
Leader.
there being no other nomination, I move to close the period. Deputy Minority Leader Senator Risa Hontiveros is seeking the floor. I move that she be recognized, Mr. President.
Senator Risa Hontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. With pride and respect, I second the nomination of my late husband's former Chief PNP and my respected colleague in the minority as Senate President pro tempore. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Lori Ligarda is recognized.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, ang tama ay ipaglaban, ang mali ay labanan. These words capture the essence of Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson's public service. They are not mere slogans, but a creed he has lived by in more than 50 years of public service as a police officer, humanitarian, and legislator. On just the 12th session day of this Congress, while many committees were still preparing to organize, Senator Lacson had already pieced together a puzzle long hidden from the public eye. True to his role as the watchdog of the national budget, he examined budget allocations line by line and deployed his team to the ground. This is the work of Senator Lacson, to let truth speak through evidence and prove that integrity is not negotiable. His diligence does not rest on rhetoric, but on facts that cannot be silenced, on unrelenting investigation, and on a discipline that few can match. Time and again, he has shown that his purpose is singular, to confront corruption head-on, to ensure that the Filipino people receive nothing less than clean and honest governance. No one dares question his commitment to his standard, for if there is one word that defines Senator Ping Lacson, it is incorruptible, a proof that one man's integrity and principle can raise the standard for us all. For these reasons, I second the nomination of Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson as Senate President pro tempore. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ligarda. The Majority
Mr.
Leader.
President, move for the previous motion that we close the period of nomination, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The period of nomination is closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. We congratulate our dear colleague, Senator Panfilo Lacson, as our newly elected Senate President pro temp.
With that, Senator Panfilo Lacson is hereby elected President pro temp of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, may we recognize the distinguished lady from Antique, Senator Loren Ligarda, for her nomination.
Senator Loren Ligarda is recognized.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise today to nominate Senator Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri as Majority Leader of the Senate. He is a leader who has consistently proven himself to be a consensus builder, a consultative leader, and a legislator whose more than 2 decades of service have been marked by diligence and perfect attendance. At only 39 years of age, during the 14th Congress, he became the youngest to hold the position of Majority Leader. He would once again assume this role during the 17th and 18th Congresses, bringing with him greater depth and wisdom to bridge differences and unify voices to keep this chamber focused on the greater good. The heart of the Senate lies in its legislative mill, the day-to-day turn of bills and resolutions from our committees to the plenary. This is our solemn duty, and Senator Zubiri, our trabajador ng Senado, has proven himself to be a tireless worker, ensuring that this institution delivers on its promise to the Filipino people. In the 19th Congress, we entrusted him with an even greater responsibility as Senate President, where he upheld the independence of this institution, guided debates with impartiality, and protected the integrity of its proceedings. Under his leadership, the Senate of the Filipino people remained firm, fearless, and faithful to its constitutional role. Today, as we once again choose who shall lead us as Majority Leader, we look to one whose record speaks for itself. For these reasons, it is my distinct honor and privilege to nominate Senator Juan Miguel Migs Zubiri as Senate Majority Leader. Thank you.
Senator Risa Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Again, with pride, I am honored to second the nomination of Senator Zubiri, our former Majority Leader, with whom many of us, including in the old minority, passed a good number of happy bills, and my colleague as well now in the minority. I so second his nomination as Majority Leader. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, there being no other nominees, Mr. President, I move that we close the period of nomination for the position of the Majority Leader. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
President.
Mig Zubiri is hereby elected Majority Leader or Chairman of the Committee on Rules.
Thank you, Mr. President. We congratulate our dear colleague, Senator Zubiri, as our newly elected Majority Leader. Mr. President, may I move that we suspend the session to allow our Senate President pro tempore and the Majority Leader to take the respective oaths of office, one after the other. So move, Mr. President.
Thank you, thank you, Majority Leader. Senator Joel Villanueva, for your service to the Senate and the Filipino people.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Session is suspended. Dito ko na rin. After. Oh, yeah. I-resume ko lang to. Pagka-akit ni ng dalawa.
We're ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
Panfilo M. Lacson,
having been elected
having been elected
to the position of Senate President pro tempore,
to the position of Senate President pro tempore,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
and of all others I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the Philippines,
the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will obey the laws,
that I will obey the laws,
legal orders,
legal orders,
and decrees
And decrees.
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith and allegiance
and maintain true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of the Philippines,
to the Republic of the Philippines,
that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you, sir.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I, Juan Miguel Zubiri,
having been elected,
having been elected as the position of the
To the-
chairperson of the Committee on Rules,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position,
the duties of my present position,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
and of all others I may hereafter hold,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees
that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities,
and maintain true faith and allegiance
and maintain true faith and allegiance
to the Republic of the Philippines,
to the Republic of the Philippines,
and that I impose this obligation
that I impose this obligation
upon myself voluntarily,
upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Bababa. May we request the President Pro Temp to ascend to the rostrum, please. Session is suspended.
Yes, we're ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our distinguished colleague from San Juan and the Republic of the Philippines, our former Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Jinggoy Estrada, would like to seek the floor, Mr. President. May we
Is
recognize?
there an objection? Hearing none, the gentleman from San Juan and Zambales is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, it is a rare privilege to be elected Senate President Pro Temp 4 times. This reflects the trust and confidence my colleagues have bestowed upon me as the second highest ranking official of this august chamber. As I step down from my role as Senate President Pro Tempore, I do so with a heart full of gratitude. And let me take this opportunity to thank you, my dear colleagues, for electing me not once, but twice, the 19th Congress and again in the present 20th Congress. Serving in this capacity has been one of the greatest honors of my public life, and I am deeply humbled by the opportunity to have worked alongside each of you in advancing the interests of our people. It is likewise an honor to serve under the leadership of Senator Francis Escudero. I have deep respect and great admiration for this person, whom I have had the privilege of working with in previous Congresses. I have seen up close his keen intellect, calm demeanor, and unwavering dedication to public service. He is a man of few words, but when he speaks, his words carry weight, grounded in solid legal reasoning, measured thought, and clear principles. And during his tenure, the Senate functioned not just as a legislative body, but as a protector of democratic institutions, champion of truth, and a venue for dignified debate on important issues. Isang malaking karangalan na hindi lamang makatrabaho, kundi maging katuwang ng isang Francis Escudero sa kanyang pamumuno dito sa Senado. And today, we mark a new chapter in the Senate. I extend my warmest congratulations to now Senate President Vicente Sotto as our new Senate President. His leadership, experience, and steady hand will surely guide us through the challenges ahead. Leadership may shift, but our shared commitment to the Filipino people remains steadfast. And as I return to the ranks, I do so with renewed energy and the same resolve to serve, legislate, and uphold the values that bind us as one Senate. Whether I hold the position of Senate President pro tem or not, I am ready to lead when needed, and I will always work behind the scenes to keep this institution running with integrity and purpose. Lastly, I would also like to congratulate my successor, Senate President pro tem, Senator Ping Lacson. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Jingo Estrada. Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to... Yes, we'd like to recognize, Mr. President, a distinguished colleague from Taguig and Pateros in the Republic of the Philippines, no other than Alan Peter Cayetano, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I was with former Senate President Escudero 60 minutes before we had to start the session. And then I intently listened to the prayer of our now Senate President Tito Sotto. And it warms my heart that the two gentlemen and us who support them individually and collectively as a Senate can truly say, and even Brother Robin, kasi po si Propetang Jeremiah ay propeta sa Hudyo, Muslim at Kristiyano, we can truly say the warmness in our heart na pag sinabing, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future," is true for all of us. I saw the hope, I saw the humility, I saw the passion in the prayer of Senate President Sotto, but I also saw the compassion, the sincerity, the humility of Senate President Escudero in stepping down. So now the heartbreak is that we as a Senate have to really surrender to God how we will find a solution for the massive corruption that is happening in our country at a time where the trust to our government institutions and leader may be at its lowest. Every time we think it is the worst time, something even worse comes. My hope is this. Usually, permanent ang politics, yung change temporary. I hope together we can find a way na maging permanent yung change or true transformation at temporary yung politics. It's funny, Mr. President, kasi the day after the Senate President took office, yun yung massive rally ng ating mga kapatid for unity in the nation. So I can claim that nagsimula yung Senate presidency ni Senate President Escudero ng panahon ng isang Sara D. or the Vice President Sara Duterte. This morning, we heard another Sara D., Sara Diskaya, and that ended naman his Senate President. So, sarado na po ang term ni Senate President Escudero. Pero, nagbubukas pa lang ang linaw, and I do not say na yung sinabi ni Sara Diskaya kanina is gospel truth. I know there's a lot of truth there. Marami pang truth ang lalabas. So I just want to in congratulating Senator Sotto, Senator Lacson, Senator Migs, all of our colleagues, I would like to manifest that I'll probably remain in the minority, but I look forward to working with you, whether we agree or disagree, because the country needs the Senate now more than ever. And my only regret naman or heartbreak is that Senator Villanueva and Senator Escudero was not able to fully vent the issues against them, precisely because every time they wanted to, they thought of the Senate. Having said that, they will have all the time and opportunity now, and the Senate always finds a way that even if its members disagree, we move forward as an institution that loves God and loves our country. So for the capacity, in my capacity, in different capacities of the committees I have held, I'd like to thank everyone for that opportunity also. Again, Senate President, welcome back and congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Majority Leader.
Senator Joel. Yeah. Yes, Mr. President, we'd like to recognize my distinguished Majority Floor Leader in the 19th Congress, and also the distinguished Majority Floor Leader of the 20th Congress, no other than my dear friend, former Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to our Majority Leader. Very short manifestation, Mr. President. Indeed, it's a great honor and privilege, karangalang napakalaki bilang isang anak ng isang Bulakenyo na makapaglingkod bilang inyong Majority Leader dito sa Senado. Karangalan po natin makapaglingkod under the leadership of then Senate President Mig Zubiri, then Senate President Chiz Escudero, na talagang nagtiwala din po sa atin. Muli, maraming salamat sa ating mga kasamahan dito sa Senado for all your trust and confidence to this representation. Lagi pong napakalaking karangalan yung mabigyan ng posisyon, lalo na sa liderato ng Senado, na paglingkuran ang ating Diyos at ang ating bayan, at lalong-lalo na po ang mahal na mahal nating institusyon. Kanina po kasama po ako with Your Honor, the presiding officer and Senate President and the Majority Leader doon sa meeting natin kanina for this very smooth transition. At isa lamang po yung ating napagkasunduan, lahat po tayo may isang common denominator. At yun ay protektahan at siguruhin na ang institusyon na pinakamamahal natin ay laging mas mataas yung ating pagtingin na paglilingkod. Kaya sabi po nung Romans 8:28, all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. At sinasalamin po yan ng mga kasamahan natin dito sa bulwagan ito. At nais kong magwakas by saying, Mr. President, that I am also now available to be part of the opposition, the minority, and that yung kagaya ng binanggit ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, na tayo po bilang mga lingkod bayan, nais nating makipagtulungan kahit kanino man kung ito po ay sa direksyon na pagbibigay linaw, pagbibigay tamang direksyon sa ating mga institusyon, sa ating mga government agencies, higit sa lahat in promoting truth, justice, and righteousness. Sabi po dun sa Philippians 3:14, we continue to press on toward the goal to win the prize of what God has prepared for all of us. Kaya muli, congratulations sa ating Senate President Tito Sotto sa bagong liderato ng Senado. Kami po'y magiging kakatuwang ninyo sa paglilingkod sa ating Diyos at sa bayan. At gaya nung huling sinabi ko nung natapos po yung aking pagiging Majority Leader, sinabi ko po, the greater cause outweighs my personal interest. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you, Senator Villanueva. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I'd like to put on record, we'd like to thank the magnanimity of the Majority Floor Leader, Senator Joel Villanueva, and the Senate President for a smooth transition in today's proceedings. We thank them, sir. And we thank you for your service, sir. Mr. President, I'd like to recognize now the acceptance speech of our Honorable Senate President, no other than Vicente C. Sotto III. Mr. President, I move to recognize.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, The Senate President, Vicente Sotto III, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 to 4, quotes, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." End of quote. Mr. President, I am deeply humbled and sincerely grateful to the Almighty Father, also to the Senate President, Francis Chiz Escudero, who administered my oath today, and to you, my esteemed colleagues, who reposed your trust and confidence in me and in my capability to again lead this august chamber at this crucial and challenging time. Our people are enraged of corruption, corruption that is now seen, heard, and felt by the Filipinos more than ever. The failed flood control projects that's supposed to protect the lives, livelihood, and properties of our countrymen, the dilapidated classrooms for our students, and the lack of quality farm-to-market roads to aid our farmers, all are engulfed in corruption, hindering the progress of the nation as a whole. In 2018, the Senate, when I was Senate President, firmly stood in its ground, opposing the unconstitutional realignments made in the 2019 budget after the Bicameral Conference Committee report was ratified. These realignments, amounting to 75 billion pesos, were vetoed by then-President Duterte in accordance to the Senate's appeal and findings. Also, the funding of the free tertiary education, which triggered the law of Senator Bam Aquino and the others, is the result of the strict scrutiny of the budget by Senator Pampilo Lacson, where he found some floating budget amounting to 8.3 billion pesos in 2017. Mr. President, corruption is now perceived by our people to be in the whole of government. But with the political will of those in position, and together with the vigilance and clamor from the public, we can fight this and bring transparency and true accountability that our nation deserves. You have gifted me with the honor of being your Senate President the second time around. To reiterate my statement from my previous election, I did not become your superior. I am simply a presider of your session. I am your listener, your advisor, if you so desire, your enabler for anything within my power to do so. I am primus inter pares, or first among equals, but among equals. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 2 and 3, and I quote, "Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, watching over them, not because you must, but because you are willing, as God wants you to be, not pursuing dishonest gain, but eager to serve, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but by being examples of the flock." End of quote. So as I said before, I will do everything in my capacity to ensure that this Senate will remain cooperative, but independent, balanced, transparent, and sincere. Thus, I am guided by Proverbs 3, "In everything you do, put God first, and He will direct you and crown your efforts with success." Allow me to also thank my family, especially my wife Helen, for her unconditional love and unwavering support. Dala ko po ang aral mula sa aking mga magulang at mga ninuno na nauna rito magsilbi sa bayan dito sa Senado. Maraming salamat sa Panginoon Diyos at dasal ko ang patuloy niyang proteksyon at gabay sa ating institusyon at sa ating bansa. Thank you very much, Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Senate President Sotto. Session is suspended.
Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journal of the 16th session, Wednesday, September 3, 2025, and consider the same as approved. So moved.
Any objection? Chair is none. The journal is hereby approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, we should call it a day. So I move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Tuesday, September 9, 2025. I so move, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock of Tuesday, September 9, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. President.